Good morning. Welcome to IS Help Desk. As we all know that prelims 2020 have been scheduled on 4th October 2020 and very few days are left for the examination. Most of the students have been busy in revising the current affairs as well as the concepts, but the UPSC paper is always unpredictable and GS paper 1 consists of 100 questions, and in that 100 questions there are many questions which are new to the students or on which the students get confused. So through this video I am sharing my experience on how to solve questions using elimination method and common sense. So please watch the video till the end and hope this video will help you in maximizing your score in prelims 2020. Here we are taking the examples of questions from prelims 2019 and I will explain each question on how to do the elimination method and how to use the common sense in that. So now moving to the question number 1. It is based on Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. It is a bank which provides the loan or investment for the socio-economic development of Asian nation as well as other nations. So in this 3 statements have been given. First is AIIB has more than 80 member nations. So this is a confusing statement because usually students are not able to remember the number of members. Then moving to the second statement, India is the largest shareholder in AIIB. And third statement is AIIB does not have any members from outside Asia. So this is the question given in the examination, and if we have to use the elimination method, then what should be the thinking process? So we all know that AIIB has been proposed by China. So obviously India will not have the largest shareholder in AIIB. So the statement second is incorrect. So through this, option B and option D will be eliminated. Now you have 2 options, A and C left. Now moving to the third statement, AIIB does not have any members from outside Asia. We all know that AIIB has members such as Australia and New Zealand. So this statement is also incorrect. So option C will also eliminate and the answer will be A, 1 only. So by using the elimination method as well as the common sense, if you do not know the answer, even if you do not know the answer, you will be able to solve the question. In the Civil Services Prelims examination, the question on this topic will not be repeated. I am just helping you in thinking in the right direction. ये चीज मैं आपको इसलिए नहीं बता रही हूँ कि आप हर क्वेश्चन में अराउंड 100 क्वेश्चंस को आप इसी तरह से सॉल्व करिए. मैं उस चीज में बता रही हूँ कि इन क्वेश्चंस में अगर आप किसी भी क्वेश्चन में कंफ्यूजन है तो आप थोड़ा सा भी एलिमिनेशन मेथड और कॉमन सेंस यूज करके क्वेश्चन को कैसे सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. क्योंकि 2 चीजें होती है, या तो आप बिल्कुल ही गैस मार रहे हैं कोई भी क्वेश्चन में कि आपने लगा कि इसको पढ़ के हमें तो लग रहा है कि ए ही होगा, हम ए पे टिक कर देते हैं. और अगर आप थोड़ा सा एलिमिनेशन मेथड और कॉमन सेंस यूज करके करेंगे सो आप गैस तब भी कर रहे हैं, सो दैट विल बी एन एडुकेटेड गैस और उसमें गलती के चांसेस थोड़े कम हो जाएंगे. इसलिए इस पूरे वीडियो में आपको ये सिखाया जा रहा है कि व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन वाइल्ड गैसेस एंड एजुकेटेड गैस. नाउ मूविंग टू द सेकेंड क्वेश्चन, द स्टेटमेंट इज व्हाट वाज द पर्पस ऑफ इंटर क्रेडिटर agreement signed by Indian banks and financial institutions recently. So it is a question based on current affairs. If we see the options, so the first option is to lessen the government of India's perennial burden of fiscal deficit and current account deficit. We all know that fiscal deficit and current account deficit is managed by RBI and Finance Ministry. So the role of Indian banks and financial institutions are not there. So statement 1 is incorrect. Second is to support the infrastructure project of central and state government, because the agreement of Indian banks and financial institutions will not support the infrastructure projects. So this option is also incorrect. Inter-creditor agreement, क्रेडिटर मीन्स होता है जो पैसे दे रहा है. नाउ मूविंग टू द थर्ड स्टेटमेंट, टू एक्ट एज इंडिपेंडेंट रेगुलेटर इन केस ऑफ एप्लीकेशन फॉर लोन्स ऑफ 50 crore और मोर. सो फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस आर नॉट इन्वॉल्व्ड इन लोन फॉर 50 crore और above, because all financial institutions have been given particular objective. And now moving to the last state, to aim at faster resolution of stressed asset of 50 crore or more which are under consortium lending. So this statement is correct because banks give loan and for the resolution of stressed assets. As the NPA is increasing, so Indian bank and financial institutions have signed the intercreditor agreement. If you are able to understand the meaning of intercreditor and the role of Indian banks and financial institutions, then you can answer the question easily. Now moving to the question number 3. In this, the statement is given: the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board is the first regulatory board set up by Government of India. Second is, one of the tasks of PNGRB is to ensure competitive market for gas. And third is, appeals against the decision of this go before the appellate tribunals for electricity. So the answer is given in this question only if you think wisely and with some common sense. In this, the first statement is Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Body is the first regulatory body set up by Government of India. And the third statement is appeals against the decision of PNGRB go before the appellate tribunals for electricity. So that means tribunals for electricity or the regulatory body for electricity is already present before the formation of Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Body. So obviously it is not the first regulatory body set up by the Government of India. So first statement will get eliminated. So if we eliminate the first statement, option B is only present and the answer is option B. I hope you are able to understand the thinking process which is required for the solving of prelims question. Now moving to the question number 4. With reference to communication technologies, what are the differences between LTE and VoLTE, voice over long-term evolution? So the first statement is LTE is commonly marked as 3G and VoLTE is commonly marked as advanced 3G. As we have read the generations of mobile, there is 3G generation and then it is 4G generation, and voice over long-term evolution is commonly marked as 4G because whenever we place a SIM or we use the data in the mobile, then sometimes near the signal area VoLTE is written. So statement 1 is incorrect. And the second is LTE is data only technology and VoLTE is voice only technology. This statement is also incorrect. You can infer is this because LTE is data only technology and the name suggests is voice over long term evolution. क्योंकि अगर क्वेश्चन में दिया हुआ है कि LTE is long term evolution and VoLTE का फुल फॉर्म है voice over long term evolution, तो that means जो भी long term evolution में चीजें हैं with addition of voice जो है वो VoLTE में, तो इसमें सिर्फ data only और voice only नहीं हो सकता. So that means both the statements are incorrect. So answer will be neither one nor. Now moving to the fifth question. It is based on the Maternity Benefit Amendment Act 2017. It is also based on the current affairs. So the first statement is pregnant women are entitled for 3 months pre-delivery and 3 months post-delivery paid leave. This statement can be solved using a common sense that a mother requires care and treatment post-delivery more than the pre-delivery. So obviously the time of pre-delivery and post-delivery will not be same. So first statement is incorrect. This can be inferred by a common sense. Now the second statement is enterprises with creche must allow the woman minimum 6 creche visits daily. This is a tricky statement, but if you use a little common sense, then it can be solved because the basic time of office is usually 8 hours. And if we divide 8 hours, then 6 creche visits is sounding odd because the creche can be visited in every 2 hours. So the 4 creche visits daily is provided in the Amendment Act. As we have negated the first statement, then the option A and option D has been deleted. So the answer can be either 2 only or either 3 only. So for the Second statement, as I have told, if we follow a basic common sense, then the 6 crash visits daily is little odd. And if we go for the third statement, that women with 2 children get reduced entitlement, it is obviously sounding correct, because government is working for population decrease, and that's why the entitlement in other facilities related to women have been reduced if the women have more than 2 children. So statement 3 is correct. So the answer will be C, third only. Now moving to the sixth question. Which one of the following is not a sub-index of World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index? In this, the Ease of Doing Business sub-index have been asked. And usually while preparing for the prelims examination, the student read the ranking of top 5 nation and ranking of India, as well as what are the objectives of releasing Ease of Doing Business Index. But cramming of all the sub-index of World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index is very tedious task. And if we use the common sense and try to infer the answer, then Ease of Doing Business Index, as the name suggests, the indexes, the sub-indexes will be related to the business as well as the criteria by which the business can be improved. So the second is paying taxes. It is related to business. Registering property, it is related to business because you need a land for doing a business. And dealing with construction permits, it is also related to business, because if you have taken a land, then obviously you have to get the construction permits for the establishment of any industry or so. B, C, D are correct and directly related to business. So obviously maintenance of law and order has been left, and it is not a sub-index of World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index, because the law and order is not a part of business activity. It is a part of government policy and the government rule. So the answer is A. Now moving to the question number 7. The economic cost of food grains to the Food Corporation of India is minimum support price. We all know that MSP is given for 24 commodities, and bonus paid to the farmer plus transportation cost only, interest cost only, procurement incidents and distribution cost, and procurement incident and charge of godowns. So for solving this question, we should know the working of Food Corporation of India. इसमें ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है कि फूड कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया को जो कॉस्ट आता है फूड ग्रेन का, वो क्या होता है. इट इज मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस पेड टू द फार्मर्स प्लस व्हाट. सो फूड कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया मेनली क्या करता है? प्रोक्यूरमेंट ऑफ फूड ग्रेन्स एट एमएसपी. सो एमएसपी की कॉस्ट आ गई उसकी. प्रोक्यूरमेंट अगर वो कर रहा है डिफरेंट फार्मर से या डिफरेंट एजेंसी से, फिर उसके बाद उसको वो स्टोर करता है एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करता है. एफसीआई डिफरेंट राशन शॉप्स में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करता है. सो फूड कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया का क्या हुआ? पहले आप प्रोक्यूर कर रहे हो, उसको स्टॉक कर रहे हो, और फिर उसके बाद उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हो. सो इफ यू आर मूविंग टू द 4 ऑप्शन गिवन, then the first is transportation cost only. It is incorrect. Then second is interest cost only. It is also incorrect. Now understand why it is incorrect. Because minimum support price के अलावा जो भी वो प्राइस दे रहा है वो सिर्फ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन का नहीं हो सकता. वो वहाँ पे प्रोक्यूर भी कर रहा है, प्लस उसको स्टॉक भी कर रहा है, एंड देन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है. ये 3 प्रोसेस होते हैं. ये 3 ऑब्जेक्टिव हैं फूड कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया की फंक्शनिंग के. सो सिर्फ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट और इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट तो नहीं हो सकती. देन मूविंग टू द पार्ट सी एंड डी, प्रोक्यूरमेंट इंसिडेंटल एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कॉस्ट एंड प्रोक्यूरमेंट इंसिडेंटल्स एंड चार्जेस फॉर गोडाउन्स. सो मेन काम जो है फूड कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया का होता है डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना टू द रेशन शॉप्स. सो ऑप्शन सी ही सही होगा, क्योंकि यहाँ पे उसके प्रोक्यूरमेंट की भी बात हो रही है और उसके डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की भी बात हो रही है, जो उसका मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव या मेन काम होता है. सिर्फ यहाँ पे, और अगर आप डी के साथ इसको कंपेयर करेंगे, सो यहाँ पे प्रोक्यूरमेंट की बात हो रही है, चार्जेस फॉर द गोडाउन्स, मतलब स्टॉकिंग की बात हो रही है। आपने प्रोक्यूर करा और स्टॉक करा, लेकिन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट जो है वो यहाँ पे मिसिंग है, इसलिए ऑप्शन सी जो है उसको करेक्ट माना जाएगा। सो इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस में अगर आपको थोड़ा सा भी पता है कि कोई भी अगर एजेंसी के बारे में या कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में पूछा गया और आपको उसके फंक्शनिंग के बारे में थोड़ा सा भी पता है, तो आप इस ऑप्शन से उसका आंसर निकाल सकते हैं। नाउ मूविंग टू द क्वेश्चन नंबर 8। इन दिस द क्वेश्चन इज बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ social capital. So the question is, in the context of any country, which one of the following would be considered as parts of its social capital? So हमने जैसे पढ़ा हुआ है कि ह्यूमन कैपिटल मीन्स कि अगर हम ह्यूमन बीइंग को, उनके लेबर को किस तरह से बेटर यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं, उसको हम बोलते हैं ह्यूमन कैपिटल। वही अगर हम सोशल कैपिटल का करें तो मीन्स हम अगर सोसाइटी को या सोशल पैरामीटर्स को किस तरह से यूज कर सकते हैं for the betterment of the nation and for the betterment of the economy. So अगर हम इसमें options को देखेंगे, so the first option, social capital is the proportion of literate in the population. It is incorrect because this is the definition of literacy. The second is the stock of its building, other infrastructure and machines. It is also incorrect because in the social capital it is talking about the people, about the society, and not about the materialistic thing, building, infrastructure or machine. So this option is incorrect. Now moving to the option C, the size of population in the working age group. This is the definition of demographic dividend. This is very common and every student knows this. So this statement is also incorrect. Now moving to the level of mutual trust and harmony in the society. So in this statement, it has talked about the society, its parameters, its features. So the answer will be D. That is the definition of social capital. So by minutely reading the options, you can infer the answer very easily and can reduce the chances of negative marking. Now moving to the next question. The service area approach was implemented under the purview of. In this, 4 schemes have been given and have asked that service area approach was implemented under the purview of which of the following scheme. मतलब इसमें अगर हम नाम से ही देखते हैं तो सर्विस एरिया अप्रोच मीन्स कि हम पूरे एरिया को या पूरे रीजन को छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर दे रहे हैं और फिर पर्टिकुलर एरिया वाइज हम सर्विस प्रोवाइड करेंगे. सो दैट इज नोन एज सर्विस एरिया अप्रोच. सो अगर हम स्कीम्स के बारे में देखें, so first is integrated rural program. So integrated rural program, as name suggests, ये mainly क्या करता है, it provides employment opportunities to the poor as well as opportunities to develop their skill sets. So ये एक पूरे रूरल एरिया के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से चल रहा है, ना कि सर्विस एरिया अप्रोच से. So this option will be eliminated. Now moving to the third option is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. So we know that Manrega is not based on service area. It is based on complete rural areas as decided by the panchayats. And the third is National Skill Development Mission. National Skill Development Mission का objective जो है वो है कि to provide adequate training in market relevant skills. सो ये भी हम सर्विस एरिया के बेसिस पे नहीं कर सकते. इट विल बी डिवाइडेड अकॉर्डिंग टू द नीड ऑफ द मार्केट एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू डिफरेंट सेक्टर्स. कि हम अगर ऑटोमोबाइल का कर रहे हैं या अगर हम आईटी का दे रहे हैं या कोई टेक्निकल दे रहे हैं या प्लम्बरिंग का दे रहे हैं, तो इट कैन नॉट बी सर्विस एरिया अप्रोच. सो बाय एलिमिनेशन मेथड वी हैव गॉट दैट आंसर इज ओनली बी, लीड बैंक स्कीम, which works on the service area approach. And now moving to the last question of this video. With reference to the management of minor minerals in India, consider the following statements. So we all know that minerals in India have been divided as major and minor. Major minerals are specified in the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act. और मेजर एज नेम सजेस्ट, जैसे कोल हो गया, आयरन हो गया, गोल्ड हो गया, ये सब को हम मेजर मिनरल्स में काउंट करते हैं. माइनर मिनरल्स मीन्स कि वो मिनरल्स जो बिल्डिंग स्टोन्स, ऑर्डिनरी क्ले ऑर्डिनरी सैंड, ग्रेवल्स, इन सब में जो यूज करी जाती है उनको हम माइनर मिनरल्स कहते हैं. सो मेजर एंड माइनर मिनरल्स का डिफरेंस आपको पता होगा. Then moving to the first statement, sand is a minor mineral according to prevailing law in the country. This statement is correct because as I have told, minor mineral are those which are used for building material. So sand is a minor mineral according to prevailing law in the country. So first statement is correct. So option will be A or D because statement 1 is correct. Now moving to the second statement, because the third statement in both the options are common. So we have to just check that statement 2 is correct or not. So the statement 2 is, state government have the power to grant mining leases of minor minerals, but the power regarding the formation of rules related to the grant of minor minerals lie with the central government. So अगर हम माइनर मिनरल्स की बात करें और जो हम आसपास अपने देखते हैं, क्योंकि इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस में आप अपने एक्सपीरियंस को भी थोड़ा यूज कर सकते हैं. अगर आप देखते हैं कि कोई भी रिवर एरिया में, रिवर जहाँ पे सैंड माइनिंग करी जाती है, तो जनरली आप वहाँ पे क्या व्यू देखते हैं कि ट्रैक्टर्स आए और सैंड माइनिंग करके वो चले गए. सो इट इज़ अ वेरी कॉमन सीन देयर. सो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट हैव द पावर टू ग्रांट mining leases of minor minerals. It is correct because the major minerals are handled under Mines and Minerals Regulation Act और minor minerals जो होते हैं वो building material और इन सब में यूज करे जाते हैं. और minor minerals जैसे sand हो गया या आपका clay हो गया, ये सब जगह नहीं मिलता है. इसलिए आप इससे भी इन्फेयर कर सकते हैं कि अगर वो पूरे इंडिया में इवनली नहीं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट है या सब जगह नहीं मिल रहा है और बहुत ही मेजर मिनरल की कैटेगरी में नहीं आता है, तो उसको सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट क्यों रेगुलेट करेगा. ऑब्वियसली इट विल डेलीगेट द पावर टू द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कि वो अपने हिसाब से और अपने रीजन और अपने एरिया के हिसाब से उसकी माइनिंग करें. सो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट हैव द पावर टू ग्रांट माइनिंग लीजेस ऑफ माइनर मिनरल्स, but the powers regarding the formation of rules related to grant of minor minerals lies with the central government. So this statement is incorrect क्योंकि minor minerals जो हैं वो region wise, area wise specific होते हैं. So the power related to mining and the regulation of minor minerals जो हैं वो state government को दिए गए हैं. So obviously option 2 जो है वो incorrect है. So we have left with this A1 and 3 only, so the answer is A. I hope कि through this 10 questions you have been able to understand the thinking process required for the prelims examination for reducing the negative marking and for solving the questions. Hope you have found the video useful and please share your comments in the comment box given below. And if you have any query, mail us at info@ishelpdesk.in or WhatsApp at 85860 For more videos and for more guidance, you can subscribe our YouTube channel and can visit our website www.ishelpdesk.in. Thank you and all the best for the examination.